too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday the 14th, September 2024. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. Some call this the last Coliseum, but we're going to call it Nowhere to Hide. For the ECR Next Generation Racing Series, 20 drivers are on track today for the Nowhere to Hide 300 at Bristol. My name's Jonathan Leach, back in the saddle with Alan Bergen. Can't thank our sponsors enough, vet2track.org, 213 Simware, and Rapid Fire Pizza. Alan, it's great to be back, especially with you at Bristol with the ECR Next Gen Cup Series. It's cool to be back for this race. What should we be expecting for this event? And I know you were with Adam prior to the race starting earlier tonight, so let us know what to expect.
Well, I tell you what, John. I'm happy to be here with you also, and it's gonna be hell wheels up, man. You got to be up on the wheel for 300 laps, 160 miles. We're gonna have multiple lines of racing. They did qualify earlier this morning at about 7 a.m., but it's full night. And it's going to be like jet planes in a gymnasium.
At jet planes at the gymnasium. That's a really good way to put it here at Bristol. You have to be on it at all times. And to make things even more exciting, we're under the lights. There's no better way to do racing, in my opinion, especially when you're at the upper echelon or when you want to be a premier sim racing IRL series. Under the lights, Friday night style, it's just, the right way to do it. And iRacing gets under the nights action. Very, very correct. The graphics look great. The cars look great. There's plenty of virtual fans and plenty of you guys here for the race. Thanks for making Sim Racing Media. We'll be rebranding to SRM very soon, a part of your evening. Just a few moments, these drivers are going to be rolling on track, and it'll be head-to-head for 300 laps.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what, John? I'm excited. You're excited. I'm ready to get this party started. But before we do that, we got to take a look at the starting field. We got 20 anxious drivers ready to do battle, ready to go to war.
And starting on the front row, you have Tyler Burden, Tay McDonald. Row number 2, Dwayne Furtick and Kane Lee. Row 3, Ryan McCall and Kyle Diaz. Row 4, Adam Bowden, Doug Denise. And row 5, Travis Gilbert, Aaron Miller Allen.
Yeah, so finishing out there, you got Marshall Harris starting 11th. Starting 12th will be Anthony Ludi. Starting 13th will be Christopher Roth. Starting 14th will be Dylan Picklesmeyer. Starting 15th will be Michael Carter. Starting at 16th position will be Pete Walsh. Robert Roth will start 17th. 18th will be John Osborne. Kent Mueller will start 19th. And rounding out your field will be Brad Rivers. And I would most likely say he's going to start from the pits.
That's all right. If you got to start from the pits, that's okay. I don't think there will be any lack of carnage in this kind of event here. I know you've talked to me into that these guys are going to be pretty solid, but there's definitely going to be some cautions. I know there's multi-groove racing here at Bristol now, which I'm really excited to see, and I see some great paint schemes. But even if you're starting from the pits, I think you're going to be okay. It looks like you just kind of missed the grid, but I think you'll be just fine. Looks like the lights are off on that Camry, and that Camry's going to come down. Tyler Burden's going to lead the field to green as he's on the throttle. And race fans, we're underway here for the Nowhere to Hide 300. Again, brought to you by Vet to Track, 213 Simware, and Rapid Fire Pizza. And can't forget Premier Racing setups as well. So here we are, folks. Lap 1 already complete. Got 299 remaining.
Yeah, and these laps, John, they're going to go by quick. So you got to be on it. These guys are going to be wheels up all night long. As you see the field trying to figure out how to go around Brad Rivers there in that number 15 U.S. Army car. This is a track where you're going to have to use the bumper, and you're going to have to get moved out of the way sooner or later. So, and I want to point out that the drivers that are in the chase right now, they're highlighted in green across the ticker there on your screen. So also, if your favorite driver is highlighted in green, shout us out and we'll get them guys some screen time. Let us know who you're rooting for in the youtube.com live chat. Whoa, we got Ryan McCall on the wall.
Yeah, 3 wide right there. That's not really going to work too well at Bristol. I know it drives better, and these next-gen cars do a really, really good job with it. But it's not perfect by any means, might I add.
Well, John, right now, back in the early back in the 90s, even early 2000s, this is a bottom line dominant racetrack. But they kind of chewed up that surface and made it multi-groove and put some PJ1 down. And John, I'm going to use some dirt track as we are under our first caution of the evening, and it comes with Kane Lee crashing.
Couple cars involved, Christopher Roth and Kane Lee. We'll try to take it back, show you what happens here. And just a little bit of a tap there, and we know these cars don't do... Ooh, big hit. We know these cars don't do well with the little tap toward the right rear of the corner, and that's what's going to bring out caution number 1 here at Bristol tonight. Let the drivers kind of cool off. It's exactly what Bradley Rivers needed to get back on the lead lap if he wasn't involved. Kane Lee's probably going to find himself a lap down, but we're about 10 of 300 complete.
Yeah, the first caution coming out, and it kind of gives these guys a chance to sort of reset and catch their breath. I mean, it's 10 laps right off the bat that we were just elbows up. And John, right before the first cautions, I was going to say that we're going to use some dirt track racing terms up on the cushion, banging the boards. And that's what it's going to take to get around here. Putting your car in those situations that you normally wouldn't put your car into on like a mile and a half, and you can incur a little bit of damage, and you're going to be all right because you don't really depend on aerodynamics too much here at Bristol.
No, I mean, I think there's a little aerodynamic action you got to use here. It's faster, than Martinsville. The speeds are quicker, and the banking into the corners really helps. And if you use that banking right, you can really get a good arc into the corner to set yourself up for the next set of corners. So I mean, you certainly don't want to have a damaged car, but it's not going to affect you like it would at Michigan or any of the mile-and-a-half racing surfaces that this series goes to regularly.
Well, there's two spots that on the short track that I always watch. One is the leader. Two is the back of the field. And how quick will Tay McDonald catch the back of the field? Because, as you know, you get 20 or more cars on here, and they get to going and rolling the quarters real good, that they're going to catch the back end of that field pretty quick. So if you're in that 18th, 19th, 20th position, you're going to want to be moving forward as fast as possible.
Well, I tell you what, there's multiple drivers here that are going to be looking to move forward as quickly as possible. I think just like at super speedways here at Bristol, the best place to be is up front. You certainly don't want to be anywhere further back because that just kind of puts you in a more likely, more peril per se. Just more things that could go wrong the further back in the field that you are. So gonna keep a close eye on this one and see how these drivers want to move to the front, if anyone's gonna kind of sit around. But I really think Bristol, you've really just got to do the best you can to move to the front as quickly as possible.
Yeah, track position, track position, track position. That's gonna be the key all night. Like Tay McDonald, Tyler Burden sitting on that front row. That's where they qualified. That's where they wanted to be at. And this is Martinsville the same way. Any short track you go to, it's all about track position. Because you're out front, you can roll that corner. You don't use as much brake here, but you can certainly roll the corner, and that car is going to lean on the right side a little more, so that upper groove, that's really going to chew up the tires. But nonetheless, we're going back to green flag. Tay McDonald gets a jump, and he's going to take Tyler Burton in second position, and that's what it comes down to, is getting that track position. Here comes Marshall Harris looking to get a 2-for-1 special as he's going around Dwayne Furtick, and wow, that's it. That's the other thing, too. You can't spend too much time trying to race the car in front of you. Coming down that back straightaway. Here comes Marshall Harris underneath Tyler Burden. He's got the inside line. He's going to force Marshall Harris gets second position away from Tyler Burden. And, he had that preferred line there on the inside. These guys aren't starting to work their way up the racetrack just yet, but they're going to get there about halfway through this run. And right now, Tyler Burden has got a whole mirror full of Dwayne Furtick there in that 51 car. Looking a little deeper in the field, there's Aaron Miller in that 10, sporting the Wendy's colors tonight as he is looking underneath for that 7th position. That's that battle right there. And once again, you gotta keep on up on the wheel. There's no time to breathe. Kyle Diaz in that number 26 car. He's working his way around Dylan Picklesmeyer, and that's going to be a battle starting to brew here any moment now. Marshall Harris with the fastest lap of the race so far with a 14.42. And then just as I say that, Tay McDonald scores the fastest lap with a 14.36. So this track's got a lot of grip in it. And, especially under the lights here and at night when the track's a little bit cooler, here comes Ryan McCall going around for that next position. Oh, that's a battle for 6th. Takes it handedly on the outside. Ryan McCall rather, going to the outside early here on lap number 21. As they work their way into turn number 3 and 4. And they are utilizing that single pit road tonight. So if you got to go down pit road, you got to go down the backstretch, enter in turn 2, and come out turn 4. Meanwhile, in the 40 car, Doug D-Nice, he's leading positions. He's backing up to that 9 car, Dylan Picklesmeyer. Here, lap 23. Picklesmeyer going to the high side, trying to make something work. He's going to cross him over, take the inside there on turns 1 and 2. And he's going to get that position. Number 7, Doug D-Nice, mired back in that 8th position. The next car that would go by Doug D-Nice would be Aaron Miller in that number 10 car. Here comes Picklesmeyer, starting to work his way underneath Aaron Miller. Here, lap number 25. Thinking high, maybe go low. Who knows? Doug D-Nice staying pat where he's at. Kane Lee, just a couple notables. Kane Lee, Robert Ross, and Christopher Ross all through on pit road, still taking an extended stay. Doug D-Nice still working on Dylan Picklesmeyer. Dwayne Furtick going to the high side. That's going to open up that lane for Dylan Picklesmeyer there. If we look a little deeper in the field, there's that battle starting to brew. And they are going to catch the 06 car Tyler Burden in a hurry. You see this? This is a short track, and you know
We got a car
I
slow
love watching
down
races
there.
here.
Robert Roth slow, let the field go around.
Yeah, he's slow. He's going to get back up to speed, and I think he's got more damage than what he realizes underneath the car, underneath that number 59 car, as he's going to just want to survive and essentially to stay out of the way of the lead lap cars. Right now, working lap number 30 of 300, 31 rather, of 300. And so far, it's been Tay McDonald all day with Marshall Harris running in second. There goes Adam Boughton going by him on the inside. And that's the 59 car of Robert Roth.
Shift our attention over here to around the battle for 8th. Really, you got about 5 cars involved. Dylan Picklesmeyer, Tyler Burden, Michael Carter, Doug Denise, Aaron Miller, all kind of in the same area. Right now, we're focused on the 06 of Tyler Burden underneath the Michael Carter machine. They get it sorted out for now. I think they'll regroup, and we'll have more to do with that. We're about a 10th of the way through this race now, just past 30 to go. Excuse me, right here, battle for 6th again. Here's Michael Carter. He looked to take a dive at Picklesmeyer. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Picklesmeyer. I had it right the first time. Of course I did. But he looked for a dive after him right there, and it really got his car tight, and it almost brought Tyler Burden right to him, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. And here you can take a look at the battle. Look at the 40 right there, just underneath that U.S. Army 15, who and that's Bradley Rivers, who still didn't get his lap back, so he's currently running 15th. On track at this time, first of the cars that are a lap down.
So the other thing I want to point out too, if you notice, they're almost diamonding the corner, so they're making 2 apexes out of these corners. They're starting in low, drifting up towards the wall, and then driving it off the corner, and that's essentially the fastest way around here. Now, here's the other thing too, is the closing rate on these cars. You're gonna close in quick, as Tay McDonald is off in another planet right now, and he's got this lead, 2.5 seconds over Travis Gilbert in that 22 car.
Hey, you mentioned the diamond, the double apex method right there. He's kind of not doing that. He's running very traditionally around the track. He's keeping that same groove right there, and that's got to be really helpful for his tires. As far as the wearing goes, but look, both corners, same exact spot. If we go on board with them right here, just look how smooth this turn in is for him. He starts turning those tires to the left about halfway down the front stretch, halfway, just barely, just ever so slightly, just not really scrubbing the tires too much. Really smooth for Tay McDonald.
Well, just as you say that, Tay McDonald's getting ready to catch the back of the field. And that's going to help out Travis Gilbert in that 22 car. Is those lap cars, as he starts to work his way through lap traffic, he's got to be very, very methodical about how he gets around those lap cars. And that's really going to allow Travis Gilbert to catch up.
Rapid Fire Pizza doing what it does best, move Ryan McCall up to third place around Marshall Harris. And wasn't much of a battle there. It seems like he caught Harris, and instead of fighting and losing track time, Harris just yielded the position, as here comes Dwayne Furtick trying to do the same thing in that 51 Chevrolet. A little faster than Harris as well. Harris's tires might just be starting to go away a little bit on him, as he's about a tenth slower than everybody else in the top 8. So we might start to see him slowly tick backwards as here comes the rest of them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, John, is as Marshall Harris scrapes the wall just a little bit, as you think, oh, it's concrete. Concrete is a tire's worst enemy right now. But you're almost driving on a cheese grater, even though it takes rubber quicker than asphalt. But like I said, you're almost driving on a cheese grater, especially the higher on the track that you go. And I'm surprised to see these guys go up to that second, third lane after 47 laps.
Haven't quite really. I was going to say, we haven't really seen the rubber start to build. I take that back. You can see a little bit of the discoloration starting to show up in the corners as you scrub it. I wish I could take a still shot now and then show that in 200 laps to see how it's built up. Something that iRacing does really well.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about what they got going on here with iRacing and iRacing has done these last few updates really well. So now, as more cars driving that outside line starts to go away. And then you'll see these guys start to migrate back to the bottom. So they're all about trying to find grip. That's what the name of the game is right now, is where's the grip at? You gotta find it. So you're gonna see these guys move around a lot more to go find that grip.
All right, 51 at 300 complete. Only 15 minutes into the race so far. These guys are zooming. They've certainly showed me one caution so far. Handful of drivers a lap down. We got 16 on the lead lap. John Osborne's the last driver on the lead lap. And he is somewhat at risk of Tay McDonald getting to him. But he's still got a little ways to go as you see McDonald get around number 9. I'm not really sure what happened to Picklesheimer, who was running really good. He must have just kind of got out of whack. Trying to look at some history here to see. Don't really see anything. So something must have happened to that number 9 that got him back in the field.
Yeah, so basically Dylan Picklesheimer might be trying to save those tires. You know, this league really prides themselves on safety. You know, I tell everybody that this league is really a safety-driven league.
Oh, we got
there's
trouble.
no fast repairs.
Man, they held on to it. I can't really quite tell you who it was. Is that car just in front of Kent Moeller, that number 81 machine, or 91, was that Kane Lee? No, that was the 81. John Osborne. There's a little contact with him and another driver in that Pepsi machine. He got extremely loose, but managed to hang on to it. I thought for sure that driver was going around, but not today.
I mean, these guys are really good. John Osborne, class of the field, and I love his paint schemes. He does. When's the last time you've seen the classic Pepsi logo?
It's certainly been some time, I might add.
Well, he's going to bring it on down pit road. And here, like I said, you have to come down pit road on that back straightaway, and you're going to lose a lot of time, especially under green flag conditions, because you got to make that trek. Here he comes off the back stretch onto the front stretch pit road. So you cannot cross that blue line. If so, you'll have an unsafe pit entry or an unsafe pit exit.
Yeah, that's certainly gonna. Pitting under green is gonna be awfully rough as far as your track position here.
Yeah, working lap number 61 is Ryan McCall there in that third position. Dwayne Furtick still mired to that outside line, as he's got a lap car there, and I can't really make out the numbers. It's number 91 of Kane Lee in that Sprite-sponsored Toyota Camry, and he's trying to get his lap back to Hardways. He's going on the inside of Marshall Harris, and the next car that he's going to try to run down there is Ryan McCall in that Rapid Fire Pizza number 90 Chevrolet. So right now, Travis Gilbert on the live timing is about 4 seconds ahead of Tay McDonald in that 29 car. So which tells me that they're starting to do green flag pit stops. Right now we're focused in on Dwayne Furtick there in that number 51 Best Buy Chevrolet. And here is Kyle Diaz in that number 26 car. And that looks like Lucky Charms. And look, I'm not a Lucky Charms fan myself, but I do love the Lucky Charms paint scheme. As he is working on the outside of Doug D. Nice there, and he's got Michael Carter back there behind him, and Adam Boughton. And it looks like Christopher Roth, too. A couple lap cars. Dylan Picklesmeyer gets into the wall. Just a little bit there. No harm, no foul. Dylan Picklesmeyer getting back into the wall. Kyle Diaz running in 7th position, trying to catch Doug D. Nice there and make that a battle for 6th.
I want to mention that the fall off here, depending who you are, is between 1 and 2 seconds already at 70 laps in. The top 7, top 8 drivers, they're only about a second off, but once you get past 9th on back, those guys are closer to 1.5 seconds of fall off, and I really think that has a lot to do with just how much sawing you do inside the car. So let's take a look here at Michael Carter. That's a lot of wheel in, however he's trying to stay off the wall right there. Let's see how much movement is in this wheel. That's a big turn. Let's compare that to Travis Gilbert. See how much wheel he's using. Significantly less wheel. In fact, that's incredible driving right there. And now, I know there's a little bit that you can do as far as your steering ratio to help how much wheel input you need, but that is a vast difference from Michael Carter to the race leader, Travis Gilbert.
And the other thing, too, is they're not shifting. I would figure that Michael Carter would be shifting to lower the RPMs and slow that motor down. But he's putting it right there on the wall. And like you said, he's put a lot of wheel into it. It don't take much to get this car around that turn, but he's definitely fighting a tight condition.
Well, when you got that banking right there, you really don't need that downshift to help you turn or to get the throttle off. And I can't speak too well for gearing. Personally, that's just not really my forte. But we know the gears are certainly changed for the short track. But I just don't think there's much to gain downshifting to 4th at this track. In fact, I think what you might gain in a touch of speed on the exit, you're going to lose as far as smoothness and rhythm. Because this is a very rhythmic track.
I mean, I can agree with you on that. But here comes Travis Gilbert putting Doug D. Nice 1 lap down on the inside. And like you said, Travis Gilbert's on that Sunday drive. He's not working really hard on the wheel, which is kind of what you want here at a track like Bristol, where it's elbows up for essentially 300 laps.
But, these guys have actually kind of made it seem like it's not so elbows up. They're really, really smooth. I'm quite impressed. The bummer really is that there's only 8 cars on the lead lap already. And, Travis Gilbert's really slowly but surely getting around everybody. Now make it 5. Make it 5 cars on the lead lap. So then his next victim is Dwayne Furtick. He's got 7 seconds to him. But there are 5 out of 20 on the lead lap. Something NASCAR was talking about, there was a lot of debris cautions, in the last 20 years. This would be a great time to have one. To keep this interesting.
I mean, in a way, I feel like that's sort of why they went to the stage racing, is to bunch the field up. But if you think about it, John, and I know we talked about this numerous times, is stage racing is really nothing new to NASCAR because they've done it in the All-Star race for ever since throughout the 90s, early 2000s. All they did was incorporate it into a points-paying race, and without eliminating cars as you go. If you think about the All-Star races from the past, stage racing is really nothing new to NASCAR. They just figured out a way to make it into a points-paying opposition, points-paying race, rather than, okay, at the end of the lap, at the end of stage one, we're going to eliminate 10 cars.
At first I wasn't a fan of it, but it really does keep drivers racing. And in fact, at some points you have to decide, am I points racing or am I win racing? Which is really kind of neat because you see drivers and even these sim racing leagues. So someone like me, when I was actively racing, I've never really have race winning speed. I had maybe top 5, top 7 speed in the leagues that I've always ran in. But if I couldn't win the race, let me just go win the stages. It's a lot easier to win the stages than to win the race because everybody's trying to win the race. So you try to get a good position in the stages, pick up as many bonus points as you can, carry that into the playoffs, and then maybe something falls your way and you have a really good end of the year to finish. It's worth mentioning that we're about 30 laps away from the pit window, 110 to 120. I'm not really expecting to see a caution before then. Some of these guys would really like that to happen sooner. Would anybody potentially short pit? Because you're going to pick up about a second and a half on what the field's running if you short pit. So you can make up some room on the competition. But do you want to be that guy that starts the process and the caution come out, which ruins your night? Or do you wait as long as you can and hope that you do get the caution, or that somebody else just can't wait any longer and then everybody's coming down pit road? That's the dilemma.
So right now, Tate McDonald is the highest running playoff car, as Travis Gilbert is making being a spoiler look easy. And, as we're watching Kyle Diaz, I was wrong. That's not Lucky Charms, it's Fruity Pebbles on the side of that race car. To your point also, John, is, what you described as being a not the fastest car on the track, but to me, it sounded like you're a Matt Kenseth kind of car. Be there at the end, keep it clean, keep it out of trouble. Now, you've been on the track with me long enough to know that I'm just fast enough to be in the way.
Sim racing it's something that's really interesting. There's people that get on here and race 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 and race. And they just can't seem to get better. And then there's people that jump on and they race a lot, but they're never, and they're good, but they're never winners. And then there's brand new people that something just clicks. I don't know if it's your video game talent. Should there be, how they have like emotional intelligence and your IQ and all that? Is there like video game Q? Like how there's quarterback or football IQ? There must be some kind of racing IQ. And I've actually got a book, Going Faster, and I haven't read it. Maybe it'll help me be a better iRacer if I ever start racing again. But iRacing is just so vastly different as far as talent and commitment goes. It's really quite interesting, especially if you spend the time trying to go up through the iRacing ranks. There's always something to shoot for.
Yeah, and, I excel more on the super speedways than I do on the mile and a half or even the short tracks, right? To me, it just seems like that super speedway, which involves a little bit of talent and a little bit of common sense. But here at the short tracks, you got to be on your game. You got to be laser focused. And that's when I'm just fast enough to be in the way. But this field of 20 cars here, you could put these guys in any league on iRacing, and they're going to run really, really well. So far, working lap 100 of 300, and we have only had one caution for cause, and right now Travis Gilbert being the start of the field, and we're starting to see drivers go down pit road. Ted McDonald is one of those drivers coming in here on lap number 100 as he's starting to work his way down pit road. And this is what kills you, is you're losing wholesale positions as you're coming down pit road.
Yeah, well, this is just going to move the pit window up a little bit. You know, it was given to us for, again, 110 to 120 on the laps. So this being said, we'll probably see him again on lap 200 or so. And then that might be it with the absence of cautions. So a little bit earlier than expected. The field is going to be very spread out. Curious to see what it looks like after these pit stops are completed. And it's unfortunate we run without a caution. We're not really going to have the opportunity to talk to some of these drivers, see how the track and the racing surface is doing. And you really can. You're starting to see some more of that darkness in those corners as the rubber is starting to get laid down as these tires are excessively hot. In fact, you can see a lot from drivers. That was out of 1 and 2, and at the very top there at 3 and 4 again. In some areas, you can see a real defined line of rubber right there. Is Dylan Picklesimer, which just went right past it. Or Simer, excuse me. I want to be racing. I like Bristol. If you don't wreck and you can actually run this race green, this is such a fun racetrack. It is so much fun. You're always on it. You know, the second you're done turning, you're turning again. You've really got to be on your P's and Q's here. And it's just a lot of fun. And when you get into a rhythm, especially if you get into the right rhythm and you've got speed, just so much fun.
I actually did run a full-length Bristol race on NASCAR 2009 for the Xbox 360.
Oh my gosh, what a great game. NASCAR 2009. Oh my gosh. I was like 12 or how old was I? 14, 15 years old, making setups on there, racing in leagues with a controller, just getting whooped. Never wondering why I can't get better, but I can't tell you how many nights I spent on NASCAR 09. That was the greatest game they ever made, and then EA, was gone.
Well, now iRacing has teamed up with Monster Games to bring us the next edition of the NASCAR racing series. And, with the iRacing graphics, even they teamed up with the World of Outlaws on iRacing, put their graphics models into a console game. And, John, I've actually had the opportunity to play that World of Outlaws game. Not the newest version they're coming out with, but the last year's version. And I tell you what, the graphics are second to none.
Yeah, well, the PS5 and the the Series X for the Xbox. Yes. I have an Xbox X. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. They're sneaky good consoles. These are the first ones that are, mid-tier PC level gaming consoles, and they really have the ability to run the graphics quite well. And it's kind of a steal, if you just want to be a gamer instead of spending $2,000 on a computer. A good console nowadays can do quite a bit. I still remember when I had to find my memory card if I wanted to play like Jack and Dexter on the PS2 back in the day, or Tony Hawk. What was it? American Wasteland or NASCAR 2007. That was a fun game. You could get behind drivers and hit a button and intimidate them, or you can make them your ally. Awesome. You know what I'm talking about?
That was hey, look. You see me on the racetrack. I had a lot more enemies than did allies. But nonetheless, as we're working through green flag pit stops, and to your point, John, I wasted a lot of time with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
American Wasteland. You could just throw ramps on the side of buildings. Gosh, now I want to buy a PlayStation just to get that. As like I said, pit stops are pretty much complete. Seems for the most part to be uneventful. Bradley Rivers, he's coming off pit road. It looks like pretty much everybody has pitted. We will see what cycles out here in just a minute, and I have a very bad feeling that we're going to have only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Is it possible to have nobody on the lead lap? Because obviously it's not, but it feels like that.
I've seen it. I've seen a dirt track race where the leader has lapped all the way up to second position.
Wow.
But while we're watching the number 5 car, I'm going to ask you a question, John. Do you guys have rapid fire repeats up there in Michigan?
You know, we had this conversation, I think, last time I did this, and I looked it up, and I don't think we do. And I remember reading about it, thinking it must be phenomenal. So let's look at the locations. Where are these guys located at? Oh, they're all in, Indiana, Ohio, one in Oklahoma, one in North Carolina. But how do I get one of these up here in Michigan? Let's see.
Well, don't get one in Michigan. Get one in Little Rock.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
But nonetheless, they opened their first store in Dayton, Ohio in 2015. And so the idea was to make delicious, fast, affordable pizza. Now they're in 25 cities, as you mentioned. And the customers love the fresh taste, the speed, and the ability to create their own perfect pizza with over 35 different toppings and sauces. So if that sounds good to you, go to www.rapidfirepizza.com for a location near you. Again, it's www.rapidfirepizza.com.
Amazingly good, amazingly fast.
I call it the Subway. Like we have
Gosh.
like a place called Papa Murphy's. It's like a Subway type.
Oh, I
for
know
pizza.
Papa Murphy's. I know about that stuff. Speaking of rapid fired, Ryan McCall right here, the number 90 machine, currently running fourth, a lap down. Just kind of racing the number 9 machine that's a lap further down than him.
And that's the thing, as you say that's the thing about running short tracks is your race is the car in front of you. That's your race. You don't want to race, you don't want to be mired back there in that fourth position trying to race Travis Gilbert or Tim McDonald. His focus has got to be Tyler Burden. Catching Tyler Burden. Even though he's a lap down, he's still going to try to get his lap back. And if they go caution, he will be the free pass car.
All right, well, we're lap 126 to 300 for Alan and Jonathan. We're going to step away for just a few moments. You're not going to miss anything. We'll be side by side. You got a couple commercials, a couple logos. Thanks for making us and the ECR NextGen series a part of your Saturday evening. It's almost 10 p.m., and we're just about halfway done with this one. So at about 11 o'clock, you guys can all go to bed, but wait till the conclusion of this one. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ECR NextGen at Bristol for the Nowhere to Hide 300. We're lap 145 at 300. If you're just joining us, Travis Gilbert, Ted McDonald, Tyler Burden are the only drivers left on the lead lap. 20 drivers started this event, and 18 drivers remain in the field, anywhere from the lead lap to only about half of the laps completed. And we still are not quite halfway, but we'll be there in just a few minutes. Race time has only been 40 minutes, and the top three are all separated by 3 and 7 seconds. And the closest battle on the track is separated by 3 seconds. Everybody's very spread out at this time for position. However, there are cars closer together on the racing surface.
Yeah, like you said, Travis Gilbert, there's dominating this field, and right now he's sitting on the top of the pile, high, wide, and handsome there in that number 22 car. But, checking in here in the YouTube.com live chat, want to thank everybody for shouting us out, giving us some love here. And, it's E. Cartman says, zip, zop, zoopity bop. IO, where's the playoff implications? Paid Guitar says, somewhere in the front pack, I'd say. Mic check from Paid Guitar. We welcomed everybody in there. Cartman, now if the lights could be added to Charlotte Roval, so they could run that race at night, and assuming the bumper run isn't a 4X and problems, and it's totally not NOS. So we definitely do want to shout everybody out in the YouTube.com live chat for chatting with us. And, if there's a driver, like you said, if there's a driver that you want to have some screen time, let us know. We'll definitely shout that driver out. We'll shout out your favorite driver for sure. And that's the thing too, John, about the YouTube.com live chat is they're the ones that help us be able to put these shows on every week, week in and week out, and we have a lot of fun with the YouTube.com live chat. Right now, Travis Gilbert, top of the pile. Kane Lee is trying to get one of his lap backs the hard way. Just don't know if that's going to be possible. Tay McDonald running second position right now. As John alluded to earlier, we're just beyond that halfway point. Tay McDonald trying to run down that number 22 car. It's Travis Gilbert it's dominating this field all night long. And, it's kind of crazy to see only 3 cars on the lead lap. As we are watching Dwayne Furtick there in that number 51 Best Buy drops Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. We cycling back up to the front, and right now our focus is on Tay McDonald as John Osborne goes around that Pepsi machine. Now we're focused on Doug Denice there in that number 40 car. Mired back there in the 16th position, and Adam Bowden trying to get around him and try to get one of his laps back. As right now, if you go back to about 5th position, and even 6th, they're down multiple laps. Adam Bowden running 8th position, or 13th rather, and he's down 16 laps to our leader, Travis Gilbert. So, John, we've been racing for a little under 45 minutes. We're already 161 laps into this 300 lap race. So, from your perspective, what are you seeing from this racetrack?
There's a lot of grip. There's just a lot of grip. Guys aren't fighting, super loose race car. If we put the weather up here, give me just a moment to do that. Right here, temperature 76 degrees, and for track temp, there's just a lot of grip. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, and it's just, these cars are handling pretty well, and the guys that are good with, a very neutral feeling race car are really kind of showing it right there. Bet the Track 22, Travis Gilbert, that's another, one of the sponsors for ECR. Can't thank them enough. And he's just got it. He just got it right. He's got an 8-second lead over Tate McDonald. By the end of this one, I have a feeling he will have put the entire entire field lap down.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple of drivers calling it a night and putting it on the hauler. As it looks like Christopher Ross is on pit road for a long time, and he would. So Christopher Ross will win the race to the beer stand tonight, and I know that that's really not a race you want to win, but I mean someone's got to win that race too.
I mean, there's still people battling for position. Right here, Bradley Rivers, he's only got a second back here to Doug Denise, who's only got another 1.5 seconds to Kyle Diaz. So you got drivers that are close to each other that are fighting for position. Pete Walsh, Kent Moeller, this is for 9th. Kent Moeller's chasing, of course. And then he doesn't have anybody, behind him that's at risk of putting him down a position. So there's a few areas where there are positions to be gained, but, these guys could really use a reset. Caution might get one more guy back on the lead lap, being Ryan McCall, who's got a 3-second gap on Dwayne Furtick. But I just don't see one. I just don't see one coming at this point. Everybody's really spread out. A lot of respect given. Not that I'm surprised. And again, the track's handling well. It's just no reason for anything to go wrong as we're approaching lap 200.
Well, I know off air, me and you were talking, and you're like, man, there's going to be a lot of cautions. I said, no, there's not. I should have took those odds and took them to Vegas and put them all on the first 12 numbers.
Look at Diaz, who's caught Denise, and this is a battle for position right here. Battle for 7th. Bradley Rivers just in front of those guys. Kind of a gaggle right here. The most amount of cars we've seen on track next to each other in a hot minute. As Diaz in the 26 and Doug Denise, I think it is, or Denise, either one, in the 40. These guys trying to sort out the 7th place position here. Giving us a little bit of entertainment on lap 174 as we come to 175. He's going to slide right in front of him and close the door. As the number 81, we saw him with trouble earlier. John Osborne is right there as well. And now he's looking to the inside of the 26, who I don't suspect is gonna make that even be a thing, as that's not a battle for position. Now,
no, and so now they're gonna get back in line, and here comes Mr. Christopher Ross in that, or Robert Ross in that number 59 car. He's going to slide up in front of that 26 car with Kyle Diaz in the Fruity Pebbles car.
I don't know how these drivers are not tired. 10:07, and I've done a full-length Bristol race before. This was some years ago, and I remember getting out thinking my ankle is sore with all the braking I had to do for that event.
Well, now you can almost just roll the corners with the gearing in these cars, in these next-gen cars. So in the Gen 6 cars, I believe those cars drove a little bit tighter. These cars are a little bit looser. So as the run goes on, they get tight. And at the beginning of the run, you can almost change the line. You can back up your corner. So there's a number of things that's going to keep your foot off the brake. And at a track like this, you kind of want to keep the RPMs up. So you don't want to really get on the brakes too hard. But you can do a little bit of what we call trail braking.
Trail braking helps, especially when you're working with a tight race car, and some of these guys might have to deal with that here because earlier we saw some guys really fighting the wheel. But if you're smooth, it just doesn't seem to be an issue. As that 29, Tate McDonald just kind of clips the outside, the outside wall of the racing surface. He's gonna do so again and again for that 29. Where he's at, there's no reason to run that car very hard right now.
just sitting out north, 81 miles north of Pigeon Forge in the Bristol and the Tennessee mountains. And John, here's a little factoid for you. Bristol is divided by 2 states. So you got Bristol, Tennessee and Bristol, Virginia, or West Virginia, I believe is what it is. That could be really confusing if you're in town here in Bristol, Tennessee, though.
Yeah, you know, you guys on the SRM crew trying to convince me to take us to Bristol, and I'm just not sure I'm ready to do that.
I mean, look, it's only 9 hours from me.
I mean, the mountains would be cool. Don't get me wrong, being in the mountains and coming to the Coliseum to race, but we might as well bring airplane headsets if we want to talk to each other.
You're not wrong. Well, I tell you what, 2 of us is trying to convince you to go to Las Vegas.
Vegas would be fun. Vegas might happen next year. We'll see.
And one of the people that want to go to Vegas is in the booth with you right now.
I wonder why. Alan Berger, everybody, the gambler.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, if you're gonna find me in Vegas, I'm gonna go to a casino. I'll teach you the ins and outs of roulette.
That's a really good pass that we saw right there. I'm not 100% sure who it is. You know, it's really doing a good job ramping the bottom of the racing surface. I just couldn't quite get my eyes on him as Dylan Picklesheimer is coming down pit road now for his second stop of the evening.
You know what I like about the YouTube.com live chat? If
What's
you're
that?
wrong, they will correct you. It's Bristol, Virginia.
Yeah, why would you say something if you weren't sure? I mean, this isn't a presidential debate.
And then E. Cartman says, don't blow my money on this strip. And don't get kicked out for counting cards. Look, I'm good enough to do 10 fingers and 10 toes. I can get to 20. Counting cards
Alan,
is
you
not
would
my
blow
strong
my
suit.
mind if you could count cards. You would blow my mind.
Be like Rain Man?
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the reference. As
That was before your time.
Tyler Burden here looking underneath another car. This is not for position. That 06 is just going to sneak right in front of the 51. Now, that's him passing Dwayne Furtick. That is the 5th place car right there that Tyler Burden just lapped.
Good.
You know, fifth place.
You know, and there's something about that 06 car, Tyler Burden. I am a big fan of Summit Racing Equipment. And the fact that he's got that car red, white. I love any car that's red, white, and blue. Love the patriotic paint schemes that we see on iRacing all year long. And, you know, Tyler Burden at Summit Racing Equipment's number 06 Chevrolet. There's something about that says Americana all over that race car. Red, white, and blue, the Chevrolet, and it's Summit Racing Equipment. You can't get no more American racing than that.
Fair enough.
Well, now we got about 101 laps to go here as we're approaching the lap 200 mark. As we mentioned all night, we want to thank everybody for making Sim Racing Media, SRM, and the ECR NextGen series your entertainment destination here on Saturday night. As we were watching Travis Gilbert in that 22 sponsored Jet Track Ford Mustang Dark Horse, just he's dominated from the drop of the green flag. And out of 201 laps, we've only had one caution for cause.
Yeah, which is really incredible. Let's take a moment to go through the field, starting the Travis Gilbert out of Napoleon, Michigan. Tyler Burden out of Kokomo, Indiana. Ryan McCall, Delaware. Dwayne Furtick's going to take that position away because there is pit stops occurring. Driver of the Best Buy Chevrolet Camaro. Bradley Rivers out of Ogdensburg, New York. Al Diaz on pit road currently. Fruity Pebbles, number 26. Kent Moeller, that 5B, the 1 machine. Pete Wash, without information. Doug DeNice, no information as well. Aaron Miller. Adam Bowden right here. 5 times Cup Series champion. Doesn't look like he's going to get there this year, does it? Allen and then he's out of Susquehanna, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to fall just short of the 6th championship, but I mean, 5 championships in a Cup Series, that's a hard feat. It's harder feat to win 1. Now, you know, over on the iron. I mean, the one thing I'm curious about is did he do the Jimmy Johnson thing and won 5 of them consistently?
Yeah, then take a couple years off and win a couple more. And if I say off, just not winning, obviously. Dylan Picklesimer out of Lincolnton, North Carolina. Picklesimer. Okay, we've been saying it right, mostly. John Osborne, Robert Roth out of Brock, Texas. Kane Lee in the 91, just, you know, sticking it out of Spartanburg. I don't know what state that is. Anthony Luddy, no longer on track. Michael Carter, no longer on track, out of Jacksonville, Alabama. Michael Harris, Ford, Colorado. Christopher Roth, Laughlin, Nevada. You know, so 20 drivers started this race. 16 cars are on track. 18 still in the session, I might add. And, you know, only 1 driver on the lead lap being Tyler Burden, and he's bringing that car down pit road now.
Yeah, here he goes. The long track down pit road at 35 miles an hour. And when you're on a racetrack, 35 miles an hour is a painstakingly long time to be traveling as far as they are. And E. Cartman's going to piggyback off my Americana. The only thing missing was blasting Freebird. He says, to be fair, if Joey Logano didn't wreck Edwards, Jimmy wouldn't have had that 7th championship. I don't think it was so much Joey Logano wrecking Carl Edwards as much as maybe it was Carl Edwards over driving the race car. Tyler Burden comes off pit road. There is the number 5 car, Kent Mueller, running in that 6th position. And Bradley Rivers is, I would want to say, pretty close to him. But that's a good looking race car too, that number 5 car. But I mean, so John, you know, we've alluded to this on you know, on and off the air. Right now, in the months of September, October, it's a great month to be, a great 2 months to be a sports fan, because you get the best of everything. You got baseball just wrapping up. You got football during week 3 this week. Hockey's getting ready to start up. NASCAR's well into its playoffs now. I mean, if you're a sports fan, this is your season. So it looks like Kent Mueller maybe has an issue or just going down for a scheduled pit stop. He's up 13 spots from where he started from.
Kent Mueller in pit road, Adam Bowden down pit road. We got 80 laps to go here for this one. You know, 3 drivers on the lead lap. And Tay McDonald at risk. Travis Gilbert has caught Tay McDonald. Can McDonald keep him behind him? I would not want to get lapped right here, but it looks like McDonald's just gonna, open the door right there, wave at his buddy Travis, and just let him go.
Yeah, I mean, as our good buddy Dave Regal would say, Tay McDonald is strapping on the hairnet and serving Tay McDonald lunch.
Yeah, in this case, there's just not much of anything else you can really do here.
Yeah, and the other thing is missing is basketball season, but even that's getting ready to start up here. And I know it's very known in the SRM fold that you and Dave Regal are very much Cowboys fans.
Yeah, you could say that. No, we need to make this known that we're not obnoxious and we don't talk about it. You guys are the ones that constantly bring it up. Constantly. But you can't. Your words can't hurt us. The Cowboys, the boys have been hurting us since we were both born, so it's no big deal.
I told Dave, I said we're going to rename the Cowboys to the Hurricanes. Because it's exciting at first, but it all ends in disaster.
He's got a good point. If Logano didn't write Carl Edwards, maybe Edwards would still be driving, and Jimmy wouldn't have his 7th.
I still don't think it. I think we're gonna end up agreeing to disagree on this one, because I think it was more Carl Edwards maybe overdriving the car too.
And I mean, yeah, it could be. I just, I'm not looking at it, and I'm not going to pull it up because this is the race that we're watching. However, we just, we've hit that, green flag lull. I've never, in the 4 years of SRM's existence and me broadcasting and racing, I have never seen a Bristol race hit a green flag lull. Never. Holy cow, this is a gaggle. It may not be a lull for long. I haven't seen this many cars together since the drop of the green flag. But
they're 2x2 behind the iRacing.com pace car.
Yeah, but not a single one of these guys is for position. Not a one. Not one of these cars is battling anybody for position right now.
I think John's mind has been blown. Poof.
How are they? This is why there's air traffic controllers. None of these guys are going to the same destination. They're all in different parts of the race, different laps, and they're all right in the same spot. And that's why there's air traffic control. And in the world of aviation, because it is not uncommon to stack 6-7 airplanes on top of each other by 500 to 1,000 feet if they're all operating with their eyes. But there's no battles right now. There is not a single one. There's just chaos of cars trying to get past other cars, and they're just trying to get to the end of the race, and they've got 65 laps, 66 laps to go. No one anywhere is battling for position, and I have just never seen this before.
I always say this: expect the unexpected.
I'm not so sure about that one. I've done a couple hundred of these now, but yeah, this is new for me.
See, I mean, so you sit here and you wait for that caution, you wait for calamity to strike, you wait for the proverbial dynamite to just implode, and well, I don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. And unfortunately, E. Cartman says the real pain is being a Jags or Browns fan. I mean, you could live in a city where there's no NFL at all.
Like where I live.
Like
I mean,
where
I
live.
guess I can pretend to be a Detroit fan.
Yeah. I mean, look, at least your city hasn't lost not one but 2 NFL teams. But in the meanwhile, while losing that NFL team, we did get the the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and that's a fun event, John. I have to get you down to St. Louis one December and watch that because that's got a lot of NASCAR flavor in it. As Carson Hosewater races in it, and he breaks out that dirt late model and goes 1/5 mile racing inside the dome where the greatest show on turf once played football. Whoa, we got a little excitement there as Tyler Burden did a little side drifting off of the 59 car, and that is Robert Roth. We're working lap 244 of 300 here. And Travis Gilbert rather, is sitting high, wide, and handsome up 8 spots where he started from. And it's been all Travis Gilbert all day long. And yes, E. Cartman, you are correct. The ASA did race at the Pontiac Silverdome back in 1982. And there was a driver a part of that, and his name was Billy Moyer, Mr. Smooth, out of Batesville, Arkansas. And John, I know here, for too long, you'll be a resident of Arkansas, and there is a lot of great dirt tracks down that way. As the Mid-South is definitely a hotbed for dirt racing and just racing in general. But right now, Tyler Burden at 06 Summit Racing Equipment's Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro is running second, trying to stay on that lead lap as he's trying, as the race title clearly states, nowhere to hide. Well, he's trying to hide, and he's trying to stay on that lead lap. As right now, he is catching Bradley Rivers in that number 15 car. Robert Roth pulling it off on the pit road. And he might get that 2-for-1 special going on with Bradley Rivers, but there's the race there at the front with Tay McDonald, who's currently 1 lap down to your leader Travis Gilbert and Tyler Burden.
So still scanning around here for, an actual battle on track. And you know what? The closest battle on track is between Picklesheimer and I take that back. I was going to say Adam Bowden, which is 12 seconds apart. You can't really call that even a battle. You got a couple guys that are 8 seconds apart, a couple that are, 6 seconds between Kent Moeller and Pete Walsh here. Under 50 laps to go. It's been really great. Again, shocked. Never have I seen a green flag lull at a place like Bristol. You got a slow car down low. I wonder what happened right there. Probably going to dive down pit road. No, they are not. Robert Roth out of the way of everybody. We're going to step away for the last time, and we'll be back for the end. Welcome back to the Nowhere to Hide 300 as the race is starting to wrap up. Less than 30 to go. It's a gaggle of machines right here that you're viewing, and none of them are for position, as there are only 2 cars on the lead lap, with Tyler Burden at risk of going a lap down to Travis Gilbert. So the race now is, can Travis Gilbert put the entire field a lap down? That's what we're going to find out.
This is unprecedented. Even at Bristol, I mean, we knew there'd be some cars a lap down, but the whole entire field. Oh goodness! I mean, Travis Gilbert's what's going on right now, as we're about 25 laps away from the end of this one. And that's all Tyler Burden needs is 1, a caution, and 2 is not to go a lap down to Travis Gilbert and that Vet to Trek sponsored number 22 car. But the fact that there was only 1 caution for the entire evening so far, and 276 laps from now in the history books. We're approaching the end of this race, and, well, no one's really racing for positions. They're just running basically to survive. As Bradley Rivers is up 11 spots, started on pit road, missed the start, and now he's up to 6th position.
That's a pretty good drive for him. Another driver up a bunch of spots is Kent Moeller. Travis Gilbert's up 8 from his qualifying run. Kane Lee is the worst driver, worst mover, I guess. He's down 12 spots from where he started in that Sprite 91. Which is a pretty cool paint scheme, honestly.
I don't drink Sprite no more. It's been 2 years since I've had my last soda.
That's pretty impressive.
So now I'm starting a new feat here in 2025. As you may know, I stopped drinking soda. I switched exclusively to sweet tea. But now it's all going to be unsweetened water.
So do it now. Don't wait till 2025. Do it now, man.
So here's the thing, right? I get on sweet tea. I always ask for lemon slices because it gives it flavor. I don't drink sweet tea and then put lemons in it because it's too much. But I do love a good glass of unsweet tea, and give me some lemon slices.
Well, enough about lemon slices and drinks. We finally have a battle for position once again. Doug Denice here, trying to track down Kyle Diaz for 7th with 15 to go. Man on a mission, try to get a pass in before the end of this race. And he is gaining quickly at about 1/10 a second a lap. He can see himself getting closer to Diaz. He's significantly faster. Last time around, he was 4/10 a second faster than Diaz. Let's go on board with him. As you can see, that Denice machine, he's already there and passing to the inside, side by side. Is he going to fight back on the high side? It just doesn't look like he'll be able to. Make that a position change, Alan. They do still exist, even though they haven't existed in a while. I don't expect to see another one before the end of the race. What matters is, will Travis Gilbert get to Tyler Burden? That's the distance.
The
Not very far. It's about a second.
I mean, what do you think is going through Tyler Burden's mind, knowing that he's got 11 laps to go, and he's just that spotter is in his ear going, 1 second back, 1 second back. Here's the lap time that he's running. I mean, is this the point where Tyler Burden starts pushing the car just a little bit harder to stay on the lead lap? or is it one of those deals where he's just delaying the inevitable?
I'm competitive. I'm not just going to let him lap the whole field. I'm not going to just give that up. Last few times around, Burden's been a touch faster. Not by a whole bunch, but by enough that it might matter. Here's Burden trying to put another, get another car, between him and Gilbert, because now it's just Gilbert to Burden. That time around, Gilbert was a little bit faster. Gap is, roughly a second right here. Actually, more like half a second, I might say.
So, I mean, the eyeball test shows about a second, half a second at the most.
And so we just want you folks to realize Travis Gilbert's the race leader. That number 6 car, by, a front stretch, is who he's trying to chase down to put the entire field a lap down. Robert Roth bringing his machine down pit road. No other battles on track. But I know if I'm Tyler Burden, I'm not going to be finishing second a lap down. And, and if I'm Travis Gilbert, I don't really care to, I don't have to pass him, but it would be cool to pass him.
5 phalanges in there, 5 laps to go. And now we're going to see 4 laps to go. And that's all Tyler Burden needs to do is hang on for the next 4 laps. As Travis Gilbert moved up 8 spots and then put it on cruise control. Three laps to go. And, that distance is slowly shrinking from Burden to Gilbert. And this is simply amazing that we saw this.
Like Travis Gilbert pulled back on the throttle here.
Does he have an issue?
He's going 90, 88.
You might be out of gas.
No, he's speeding back up. He's just goofing off because he's got so much room. Everybody. Back to 120 on this final lap around here for the Nowhere to Hide 300. Travis Gilbert showing everybody how to get it done right here as he's coming out of turn number 4. With only 1 car left on the lead lap, he's going to win tonight under the lights at Bristol. Tyler Burden still really needs to run another lap. However, he's going to finish right here, crossing the line. The race is pretty much over at this point. Gilbert, folks, is your winner. Tyler Burden, Tay McDonald. Tay McDonald is first car, 1 lap down. Tyler Burden finished his just second. Just shy, of going a lap down. And Travis Gilbert really slowed it down, It was kind of like one of those wide receivers, wide open, just kind of walks into the end zone from 10 yards. That's what we just saw Travis Gilbert do a second ago. And you know what? He deserves to showboat just a little bit with how smooth that he's driven that 22 Ford to victory lane here, driving around the field in some cases as many as 5 times. 7 times, 8 times, 9. I'm seeing 9 times. A couple of these drivers, he lapped them 9 times in this event with 1 caution, just 1 yellow. Just astonishing.
That is simply amazing. But we got our top 3 drivers in the waiting room waiting to have a word with us and talk about their night here at Bristol. So with that being said, John, we'll go ahead and bring tonight's winner and Travis Gilbert in first to the broadcast booth. Travis, it's John and Alan in the SRM booth. How's it going, bud?
Not too bad. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Hey, look. Not too... You just like put on a clinic here at Bristol, lapping almost the entire field. What was the track conditions like as you're riding around out there, just dominating the field?
They started to look like it started to build up rubber up on the high side, so I got up there in the rubber one time and it took me like 3 or 5 laps to get that shit cleaned off clean off the rubber off my tires. And I slowed down big time. So track was definitely rubbering up on the high side, just trying to navigate the traffic and stuff. So I don't know, the track was pretty fine. I had plenty of grip. I mean, we put on a clinic, only 1 caution, and we went 300 laps. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so with that being said, and you kind of took the next question and answered it already. So as the run goes on, what was your strategy of dealing with the lap traffic as you were passing some of these guys, not once, not twice, but sometimes 9 times?
Well, I don't know if it was 9 times, but I was just in the zone. I mean, just locked in, just going where they weren't, going where the race car could go low, middle, high. It didn't matter. This GWR Gone Wrong Racing toward Mustang, and I appreciate Wayland. Excuse me, it's a long race. All right, I appreciate Wayland Turner for this Darkase digital Vetatrack scheme that he put on. Looks like a little bit of fire and ice as he would describe it. So it was on rails. It just went everywhere. So the traffic didn't really bother me. I mean, 300 laps, I didn't really get fired up at all. It was just a pretty calm race and just really locked in. I'm smoked right now though. This ECR group put on a heck of a show. I mean, I could have maybe used a break or two. I'm sure the rest of the field could have, but yeah, I'm ready to go celebrate, and I'm smoked. I'm gonna have to change my clothes here in a minute.
Well, with that being said, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you would like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to appreciate, Tay McDonald. He helped me build the basic setup. I made a few changes and this thing just came to life. I sucked in qualifying, got loose in 1 and 2, and then loose in 3 and 4. And this field is so tight on short run speed that I started 9th. But as soon as that green flag dropped, we went straight to the we went straight to the front of the field and we never looked back. I appreciate Tay for racing me clean and giving me a pretty easy break when I caught him, and appreciate the rest of the guys. Some of them race hard, but none of them got me in a
good astrology line
where I was, scared for my race car.
Okay.
I was going to get wrecked. So
appreciate the ECR
group for going
almost 300 laps
green with 1 caution. That's really impressive.
Okay, Leo.
Adam Bott and the admins. My Gone Wrong racing teammates.
Aries,
GWR, Chris Roth, Robert Roth, and then Wayland Turner with this Darkase digital paint scheme. This is the first time that I've ran it, and this thing was
our first match of the day.
Lightning fast. So I really appreciate him. If you need any schemes, set up Darkase digital. I know some people do schemes in here, but this dude knocks it out of the park. I really appreciate that. And with that being said, I appreciate Vetatrack. They do a lot. They help sponsor the league. They do a lot for me. That's why I put on a show. That's why I race 22 veterans commit suicide a day. We do battle and PTSD 1 lap at a time. You asked me about lap traffic. That's what I did. I just hyper focused in and everything and was vigilant, just locked in. That's why we battle 1 lap at a time, PTSD. And appreciate Jim Whittam. Appreciate you guys over at Sun Racing Media. I'd like to say hi to Terry and Tweet. Terry underwent a prostate and a bladder removal for cancer, and he doesn't have to go back and do chemo. So God bless him and his family, and thank you for the prayers answered over there. And just God bless America, and hope you guys are all safe. And we'll see you guys again soon to go put on another show with this Vetatrack Ford Mustang.
All right. Well, we're gonna get you out of here and let you celebrate with your Gone Wrong Motorsports teams. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the next one.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Alan.
Yep, and that was Travis Gilbert, and we're going to go ahead and bring in our second place driver here tonight, and that is Tyler Burden.
Yes.
John, I believe you have Tyler Burden with you.
Hey, Tyler. Jonathan here. Alan in the booth with you. Just 1 caution race. You were fighting to stay on the lead lap here. What was going through your mind as Travis was getting closer and closer in the closing laps?
My back hurts. My knee hurts. My shoulder hurts. That's all I was thinking about. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to get it over with. Because I run my force feedback. I've got a direct drive, and I run my force feedback strength cranked all the way up on these cars because it just feels better to me. But yeah, that's all I was thinking. I was sweating, in pain, and I just wanted to go home.
Well, I mean, P2, especially when your force feedback cranked all the way up. I don't have any experience with a direct drive, but I've certainly seen some people use them, and I hear that they can definitely wear you out. And I was talking to Alan about this one, and you can wear yourself out on a long Bristol race, especially when you don't have the caution brake, and you guys didn't have one. Yeah, y'all were 270 laps just about green flag racing, which is incredible. A lot of turning, a lot of off the gas, on the throttle. So, I mean, kudos to you for finishing P2, staying on the lead lap with Travis, who is just kind of lights out. And then, I mean, yourself, though. Everyone he lapped, you lapped as well. Just incredible showing for you. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts going into next week, or you just want to log off and, relax for the next week and get ready to go next Saturday or when you're back?
Well, pretty much my only thoughts are right now, because I went to a buddy's house and I bought 2 more motors for, just to play with. And so that's pretty much all I'm thinking about right at the moment, is tearing those motors apart. But now, what is next week? I'm blanking on the schedule right at the moment.
You guys have Texas next. Alan mentioned that y'all might have an off week. I have to double check the schedule to confirm that. But chase race number 3, We Love Pickles 250. It'll be at Texas. That should be a good one.
Yeah, there is an off week because the IRL Bristol race. So we'll have a week. That's probably all I'm gonna do. Actually, I'll have that entire week off when we go run Texas. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna do, is play with a couple LS motors that I've got. And but no, I kind of shot myself in the foot. I was trying to be a little conservative because there's a few people that I didn't want to be around up at the front. And from what I've heard, they kind of did cause problems. So I just kind of backed off, and it wasn't as easy coming back up through the field, which allowed them to get back up there. I'm kind of surprised that I was able to grab Tay, but yeah, the lap traffic was a slight issue. I got into the back of Pete there for a minute. He tagged the wall, and I apologize, but he kind of took the blame for that, because it was kind of unfortunate. He tagged it's kind of like COD timing, when you don't want it to happen, it happens. But yeah, other than that, I'm probably gonna go do some laundry, take a shower.
All right. Well said, Tyler. Good job, P2. We hope to see you in a couple weeks at Texas. I hope you enjoy your night.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Last but certainly not least here on the podium. And that is the driver of the 29 car. And that is Tay McDonald. Tay McDonald is Alan and John up in the SRM booth. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, look, man, one caution period and the rest green flag runs, and you gave it a valiant effort to stay on the lead lap, but take us through that race and what it was like going green to essentially green to checkered.
Yeah, I mean that's really no surprise. These guys are good, so we go green flag racing quite a bit. I kind of had a feeling that's how it was gonna work. So I don't know. I think I was burning my stuff up a little more than I needed to there at the beginning. I wasn't sure what to expect. I seen Tyler had dropped and was saving his stuff, and I knew Travis had a bad qualifying lap, but I knew that he was going to come to the front. That guy was stupid fast at Bristol, so knew that those guys were gonna be the ones to contend with, and I didn't have anything for him. I mean, Travis ran out of fuel there, I think, at the end, but I mean, he had such a massive gap that it didn't really matter. So just glad to get top 3 podium finish, and keep building on what the playoffs are bringing.
Yeah, and we had next, here in 2 weeks' time, we had the Texas Motor Speedway for the Dillon Loves Pickles 250. What's your thoughts? What's your expectations as we head to Texas Motor Speedway?
I really like Texas personally. I know a lot of people talk bad about it, but I like Texas. I'm glad that the next four races are going to be intermediate tracks. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to have winning speed at Texas, but I like it, and we should be able to come out of there with a solid finish and hopefully keep maintaining this points lead.
Well, look, brother man, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to thank that helped get you here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank the guys at GWR Racing, Chris, Rob, and Travis. Waylon, he wasn't able to be here tonight, but he makes awesome paint schemes, makes my paint schemes, so I appreciate him. Got to thank my grandma Linda. Got to thank the league sponsors and the league admins, and thank you guys at Sim Racing Media for putting on the show. Let's go to Texas.
All right, buddy. Well, I can't wait to see you down there, and have a good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
And that was our third place finisher, John Tay McDonald. But nonetheless, before we get on out of here, let's go over those final results one more time, as Travis Gilbert will bring home the checkered flag. Tyler Burden will finish second on the lead lap. And finishing third will be Tay McDonald, 1 lap down. Ryan McCall will finish in that fourth position, 2 laps down. As Dwayne Furtick will finish fifth, 2 laps down.
3 laps down.
Top 5. 3 laps down, yes.
And 3 laps down also is Bradley Rivers. Just incredible.
Yeah, Bradley Rivers finishes 6th, 3 laps down. Doug D. Nice will finish 7th. Kyle Diaz will round out that top 8. Finishing ninth will be the number 5 car, Kent Mueller. Pete Walsh will round out your top 10. Finishing in that 11th. I'm sorry.
You're good, man. You're good. I'm just trying to help you out. So Aaron Miller, Dylan Picklesheimer, Adam Bowden, John Osborne, Robert Roth, Kane Lee, Anthony Luddy, Michael Carter, as well as Marshall Harris, Christopher Roth. Those drivers started the race. Everybody had a little bit, were racing with a little bit less than Travis Gilbert, who lapped the entire field, in some cases, by 8 laps for drivers that did not have any trouble. Kudos to Tyler Burden for remaining on the lead lap, and these guys are going to take a break next week. They're going to be back in 2 weeks for Texas. That'll be September 28th. Join us then for the SRM crew. I'm Jonathan. Alan's with me. I almost called myself Alan and called him Jonathan. That'd have been odd. But anyway, SRM's going to sign off for the night. Want a special shout out to the drivers, league fans, and anybody that watches sim racing. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.